Let's welcome our keynote speaker of the day, Ms. Tina Rawla, Managing Director, CFO and COO, Heinz India. Ms. Rowla joined Heinz in 2010. She played a key role in the setup of Heinz India residential account and in setting up and stabilization of property management for commercial projects, One Horizon Center and Skyview Corporation Park. Today, she oversees finance, accounting, budgeting, and day-to-day business operations for Heinz India, along with property management of operating assets. Ms. Rawla, a very warm welcome to you. And as I mentioned, in Indian real estate, now women are taking much more active roles. We have, leadership like you in real estate. So let me hand it over to you to know your views on where we are going now.
First of all, Sapna, many congratulations on celebrating your 18th anniversary, and I wish you best of luck for the future.
I believe it couldn't have been a better day than to
Yes.
Have the woman icon and awards, conclave and awards. Thank you so much, Tina. All yours now.
I completely agree, and thank you for your kind words and the introduction, Sapna. And I would like to thank Exchange for Media Group and the team for inviting me today. The theme of the event is one that I strongly relate to and passionate about, and it is both a pleasure and a privilege to be here today, sharing my professional journey, some of my life experiences, and my thoughts on empowering dreams and driving change, especially relating to the women in our workforce today. As you already know, I'm the CFO and COO for Heinz India, the global real estate firm headquartered in the US with a rapidly expanding footprint in India. Heinz established its India office in 2006, and I have been a part of the firm for most of this time as I celebrate my 12th work anniversary next month. Not quite 18 yet, but I hope to get there soon. Most importantly, I'm proud to note that we have almost 45% gender diversity ratio at Heinz India, which is better than the industry average, and this is reflected across roles, functions, and levels. It is so encouraging to see how far we have come today from the time that I joined the corporate workforce, and that India ranks higher than the rest of the world in creating a gender-inclusive culture. I will first talk about three things that have driven India forward, which are regulatory changes, social changes, and HR policies. There have been a series of legislative and social changes amply supported by HR policies adopted by forward-looking companies that have been the drivers of this transformation. Some years ago, the Indian government made it mandatory to hire a woman independent director to the board of companies of a certain size and scale. Not only did it result in a lot of women upskilling themselves to qualify for such roles, it is also a proven fact that once there is women representation on the board, the diversity ratio improves, and there are better policies and programs in place providing more growth opportunities to women. There also have been a series of social changes in the past couple of decades that have acted as a catalyst for women to enter the corporate workforce and then to remain there. Whether it is equal education opportunities or having successful women role models at home and in the office who are willing to guide, support, and mentor the next generation of women leaders, or having spouses who understand that our careers are equally important and rewarding as theirs, and they are willing to support it. Lastly, and most importantly, HR policies are playing a big role in women participation in the workforce. Whether it is diversity and inclusion that is front and center of our HR programs, or flexible working hours available to young parents to raise children, all are playing a part in solidifying a woman's role in the workplace. So the next logical question is how to create better opportunities for career progression. And here I would like to share my own personal experience and what has worked for me. Most of you know that I'm a chartered accountant, and I qualified at a time where there were very few women in this profession, at least in India. However, most of my early professional years were spent in raising my family versus building my career, as it was exactly what I wanted at that time. I joined my husband's accounting firm, which allowed me to set my own rules. Of course, I knew the boss and work at my own pace, giving me enough time to raise my children. However, as my children grew older and needed me less, I wanted to do more for my career. So a good 10, 12 years after I qualified, I decided to get a full-time corporate job, being fully aware that it was not going to be easy finding one, and then learning to balance my new responsibilities with my existing ones. I was lucky to get the right break and then capitalize on it. I'm not even remotely suggesting that anyone attempts what I did, but I do believe that by prioritizing exactly what made me happy at every life stage and daring to dream that I had the ability to make it work has greatly helped me in building a successful career. It also demonstrates that it is possible to rejoin the workforce after taking a break, to raise your family, and I'm a living proof of that. There are three mantras that I swear by. The first is own your success. There are several factors that will contribute to your success. I agree that luck plays a part, but then it is also said that the harder you work, the luckier you get. Hard work is also important. Then there is your family's support, constantly upskilling yourself to stay at the top of your game and finding the right companies and the right set of people to work with. All of the above factors will play a part in you being successful. But the most important element to your success is being good at what you do. Therefore, please always appreciate that you are where you are because you are good at what you do. Secondly, build strong teams around you and empower them to achieve their goals. Get out of their way, but be available to guide whenever required. This will not only keep them motivated, but also allow for you to do more and grow in your career. Lastly, don't shy away from stepping out of your comfort zone and accepting new challenges or responsibilities. That is the only way to go. So, where do we go from here? We have covered a lot of ground, but I feel that there is a lot more to be done. And here I will again share what I experienced only a couple of years ago. It was pre-COVID, I think in February 2020, that a senior colleague and I attended an event organized by one of the largest public sector banks in India. They had invited some of their biggest clients. And after the event, while we were all having dinner, my colleague and I shared the table with a senior leader from a large company. The conversation somehow steered towards diversity and inclusion, and this leader mentioned that there were three M's because of which he avoided hiring women on his team. It was shocking and unbelievable to say the least. But then he went on to elaborate that these three M's were marriage, maternity, and mobility. Thankfully, before I could react, my colleague responded so strongly that I hope it left a lasting impression on this senior leader's mind and helped change his opinion. But it also made me think that despite the effort that is going into driving change, there are people such as these who get in the way. Therefore, we have the responsibility to ensure that hiring decisions are not made on the basis of three M's above, but only one, and that M is meritocracy. It is only then that we will be able to build better, more profitable businesses and stronger, more motivated teams. With this thought, I will hand this over to you, Sapna, and to our distinguished speakers and panelists to share their thoughts and experiences on how they have empowered their dreams and broken barriers. It is my request that you organize more events such as these so that women all around can learn from the experience of others before them. Thank you.
Thanks, Tina. I think in one anecdote that you shared, you have, shared both sides of the coin, where one veteran senior leader is talking about three M's, which you explained, and another male colleague is right there who is saying you are wrong. So in one incident, I think we have got the, both the sides of the coin. As I said, a lot more needs to be done, but we have come a long way. You mentioned about prioritizing what you want at what stage of your life is very important for women. And then when you decide you want to do this, go for it, put all your heart and soul into it, and definitely you can achieve success in whatever you dream for. One very interesting observation has come from one of our audience, that there are more women professionals now in all fields, but there is also a general perception that even today, female professionals need to prove themselves more than the male colleague. So is it the outside pressure, or is it the women themselves from inside who feel proving themselves more? How right or wrong is it?
Well, again, when I started my first corporate job, I was told that you'll have to work twice as hard to be considered half as good. It was shocking because I was anyways struggling with finding the right balance. I was leaving my children and stepping out of my home to start a corporate job, and there was this additional pressure that I would have to work twice as hard. So, well, it may have been slightly true. I don't believe it was true, but maybe slightly. It was true in those times, which was, I'm saying, 20 years ago. But today, I think women are more self-assured, more confident, and I don't think they should put any pressure on themselves to prove their worth. You have to be good at what you do. And I mean, I have been a witness that corporates, respect you and appreciate you as you are. There is no pressure. And if they're putting pressure on themselves, they should not. Absolutely.
Okay, external pressure is good enough, so why pressurize yourself more? But finance services sector is even harder, for women professionals. So, how did you, one advice, how did you kind of now reach this leadership position? And especially when you started, as you said, 20 years back.
Yeah, so, well, I have always believed, I have always set my own terms. I don't believe one sector is harder than the others. I think all jobs are equally hard or equally easy. So you have to find the right balance and the right skills to execute your job well. And what has helped me in my career is that, well, when I joined Heinz, I was hired as a financial controller. So yes, I was the senior most in the finance department, but my role was restricted to finance only. But as the firm grew and my role grew with it, and the main reason behind that was that I did not shy away from raising my hand to accept more responsibility or to agree to do things that my other colleagues were not interested in doing. So that expanded my role, that helped me learn new things and establish myself as a person who could execute well at various levels across functions. So that helped me.
That's right. Another question which is never asked from a male professional, but is always asked from a woman professional: how supportive was your family?
Oh, absolutely. See, again, well, most women, including myself, will attribute their success to the support of their family. But then it's been said for generations that behind every successful man, there's a woman. So now, when women are strongly entering the workforce and proving their worth, why can't there be a man behind a successful woman? And there always is. And it is not a big deal. You have supported your husband in his career, and it is now his turn to support yours. It's a given. And then I always felt that my children were immensely proud of me. So, and that drove me forward. And I always made it a point, to bring my children to work on certain days, though, so that they could see what their mom was doing. And that made them appreciate my role more and my profession more. So at certain levels, the lines become between your personal life and your professional life become blurred, and it is all right. It's all right. So today I encourage my, colleagues, younger colleagues, to bring their children to work and not feel guilty about leaving them home. During COVID, when we were working on a roster and domestic help was not as easily available, I would always encourage young mothers with children to bring them to work whenever required, so that they could see what their mom was doing, and it gives you support. They are always proud of you.
That's right. I think now that, we are having more women leaders, and in fact, many male leaders are also more sensitized, and they understand, how, they are more appreciative and are supporting to their female colleagues. So changes are happening.
Yes.
What was the best work-related advice that you had ever received during your career, which you would like to share here?
Well, it was not an advice, but a conversation I had. So at one point in time, I was certainly I was somewhat stressed about my work and what would happen. And then it was my husband who said that, well, I'm repeating it in Hindi because that's how he said it. कि चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, तेरी किस्मत कोई कुछ नहीं ले सकता. And that helped me. कोई नहीं ले सकता किस्मत. And that helped me believe that, well, I will keep on doing what I'm good at doing to the best of my ability and leave the rest to God. So I think that's the best piece of advice.
That's right. That's fantastic. I
Don't
think
worry about consequences.
I think our audiences, will completely agree with that. And as you mentioned about, one of the questions that I had, which you have already answered, is that leadership is all about paying it forward. So someone probably mentored you, or probably the challenges that you faced, and now you are helping the next set of professional leaders, as you mentioned, encouraging them to bring, the children in office and let them see what their mothers are doing. And it gives them also a piece of, satisfaction and, to work in the organization. What leadership lesson that you have learned that is unique to being a female leader that you would like to recount here?
Leadership lesson as a female leader. That you don't have to work twice as hard to be considered half as good.
I think that's a wonderful piece of advice.
Just be good at what you do and be proud of what you have achieved.
Right. Right, that is true. And women are known to be much better at multitasking. So they can balance both home, office, their personal lives, and their friends as also. So I think, Tina, it was a fantastic conversation with you. For the younger generation, I think leaders like you have already opened up new paths and made it easier for them. And the next generation is much more self-assured, as you mentioned, that we need to be self-assured. So as we see the next generation is so much more self-assured about themselves. Any piece of advice that you would like to share with them before we let you go?
Well, as I said, women today are so confident and self-assured that I learn from them on a daily basis. And therefore, I don't think I have anything that will, that will improve upon what they are doing already. But it is my, it is my belief that we should always have a healthy balance between happiness and pursuit of success. Do what you truly believe in, and that will automatically increase the probability of your success and make you much more happier as a person.
That's right. The right balance between ambition and happiness.
Yes.
And as you said right at the start of the session, do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Ms. Tina Rawla, for being here with us and sharing that insightful conversation and answering some questions from our audience as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for having me. Have a great event.
Same here, Ms. Rawla. Thank you for being here and talking to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.